my first time in Ghana was 2015, it's now 2022. So I did spend a lot of time here, but even now it doesn't get boring at all. So I didn't see it coming at all. So I was an intern at Citi Fm. It was a funny thing because that was the first time I saw him smile. And I was like, oh! So my favorite food is fufu. Sundays especially fufu with goat and groundnut soup. I need to do better. My tree is kaka. So my name is Ileen. I am 29 years old. I live in Accra, Ghana. I am a business developer for IFTC. It's an agricultural NGO. And yeah, that's what I do. I'm originally from Netherlands, so in Europe. That's where I'm born. I'm born in the middle of the country, Utrecht. And how did I come to Ghana? So I was studying actually African studies as my master's. And I had to do research, and I wanted to do research in radio, but my French wasn't so good. And then my supervisor said, what about Ghana? And I was like, okay, let's go to Accra. So that's how I ended up at Citi Fm. I worked on the Citi Breakfast Show. Did my research there about how they discuss certain topics. That was my first time. I used to live at Legon campus, which was great because I met a lot of Ghanaians my age. So it was a good introduction into Ghana. And of course, in the newsroom every day, the news would break. And as a foreigner, I wouldn't understand so much about what exactly the issue was. So they would explain a lot. That's one thing about journalists, they like to talk. And they like to explain things. So that was really good. Like, it was a great introduction into Ghana because every day I would learn something new. I could ask questions, we could discuss. So it was a wonderful first time in Ghana, yeah. Yeah, I mean, my research was finished. I had such a great time in Ghana. I think it was a honeymoon phase as well. But I wasn't sure if I would come back to Ghana. However, I did 2 masters. So for my other masters, I was supposed to go to the east of Africa, to Burundi. But at the time, it wasn't safe. And then the same organization was in Ghana. So then I returned to Ghana and I worked on the research in cocoa. So I was in Bibiani, around there, Anansu. I really experienced village life. There was no running water, little electricity, bucket showers, lots of cockroaches, but also very warm welcome in the village. I really saw what it means to have a cocoa farm. It was also like, it was a whole other world than my first time in Ghana, but it was such a great experience. Yeah. So I studied African studies, but I was a bit skeptical because I felt like you cannot learn a whole continent from the books. So I was like, okay, but I would love to know more of the continent itself. So it's like, okay, let me take the books as a starting point, and then once I'm ready, I'll go see it for myself. So I think I came very open-minded. I wasn't sure what to expect. Of course, you read about where you're going, you watch media about it, but to really be and exist somewhere is so different. There's so many layers in society, and also I think the longer you are somewhere, the more you're actually going to see. So even nowadays, I mean, my first time in Ghana was 2015, it's now 2022. So I did spend a lot of time here, but even now it doesn't get boring at all because another country, it's a whole different world. So I didn't see it coming at all. So I was an intern at Citi Fm. I was working on the breakfast show, which was from 6 a.m. to 10. And then after that, there would be brunch in the city, which my husband would host. So most of the times I did a lot of observation, so I was still typing in the studio annex. And then he would come into the studio and everything. And the funny thing was that he always acted so tough, like boys, and being rough. And I was like, who's this person? Like, why is he so rude? But then during the show, we actually played these lovey-dovey love songs, really lovey-dovey. And so I was like, how is this rough, tough guy is actually playing all these love songs? And so I actually asked him. I was like, one day, I asked him, like, how is it possible Like he plays all these love songs, and it was a funny thing because that was the first time I saw him smile, and I was like, oh, that's such a nice smile. And he liked that I actually noticed that, like the difference. So we started talking, and we took it from there. So we really got along well. We had great conversations. So it was really nice to meet him, but I also knew I was leaving soon, and I was like, let me not start this now. With 3 weeks to go, I thought it's not, I mean, it was a good time, but I was like, let me not rush into things. But then when I came back the second time in Ghana, we were both free. We went on a date with no expectations, so we just said to each other, let's see how it goes. If one of us is not feeling it anymore, let's just talk about it, and then we leave it at there. But I mean, I never left, so after the cinema we just got along, and I was like, yeah, this is something good. So that's where we started. I think every relationship evolves over the years, especially when you get to know each other better. Life will throw challenges at you, so you will definitely experience that together and see how you react both to it. I do think it was great that we had a bit of time once I returned to Ghana, because I had first my internship within the cocoa research, and then I had the opportunity to work with the Netherlands embassy also as an intern. So that gave us 6 extra months. And that was great, because I think you can definitely do long distance, but it was great we were able to build that foundation and really knew like this is something special. We knew what we were like going into, and that we appreciated it that much. So then we had to do long distance, which is always challenging. But I do think that it brought us a lot too. Like we learned how to communicate over phone. At the time there wasn't so much FaceTime and everything, so we did a lot of phone conversations, and you really need to pick up on little things, like ask each other more questions, because you can't see somebody or you can't hug the person or comfort the person like you would do if you were there physically. So I think it brought us a lot too. And then, I mean, long distance is very draining. It's great because you have a lot of highs and a lot of lows, because when you are together it's like, oh, I'm top of the world, like, oh, I'm so in love, which is great. It's also awkward because you're not together for a long time and suddenly you're together 24/7, like, oh, what is this? So the highs and lows are I feel they're very demanding. So at some point we were like, we cannot do this forever, we have to make a plan. And that's where we started talking about maybe Kwame would come to Netherlands or I would move to Ghana. And as I had such a great time in Ghana, I was keeping an eye out for a job, and then I got a job in 2019 for 2 years, and I was like, okay, let's try this out, let's just go. And then we started living together, and I'm now married for 2 years. Yay! I find the word culture shock a bit like as if it's a sensational thing, because it's not always a shock. Sometimes it creeps upon you and you're like, oh, we differ in opinion on this, what would it be? And then, or sometimes we have an argument about something and like, why are we so like worked up over this? And then you start talking to each other like, okay, but this is why it's important for me, and then, oh, but it links to this to me. So you'll find ways to kind of navigate it. But of course it comes with ups and downs. I think Dutch people are very direct. Luckily Kwame is also direct, but sometimes how we say things, so Ghanaians use a lot of please, for example. So if I ask something, if I would ask it in Dutch and translate it to English, it would be like, can you give me this? And Kwame would get worked up over that a little bit, because it's not polite. Why are you like giving me orders? So I meant, could you please, because that's the right way to say it in Ghana, could you please hand me the towel, or something like that. So we've worked through these small things, like, okay, I don't want him to feel uncomfortable, so I would say, could you please do this, could you please do that? And those small things will creep up on you. I think it's also, for me, it's interesting in the Netherlands, when you meet somebody for the first time and you're excited to meet them, you ask lots of questions. But here in Ghana, people leave you more kind of alone if you are their guest. They give you space to do your own thing and just relax. And you're not allowed to help with anything and people want to take care of you, which I love. But because I'm used to supporting, like wherever you go, you help out, or people sit with you, you talk, you ask questions. So sometimes it was a bit uncomfortable for me to like be somebody's guest, because I'm like, oh, I can only sit here and be here and not ask questions and all these things. So I think it's always give and take. So you try to find that balance. So respecting your partner, but also respecting yourself and what you are used to. We try to stay away from words like right or wrong, because there's no right or wrong way of living your life. But we just have to figure out a balance and talk about that a bit more than maybe people from the same country. So for me, honestly, another person is another world on its own. Whether you're from the same country, the same neighborhood, or you're from different countries, I think just that the bridges we build are a bit longer or bigger. I think Ghana in general, but also my relationship, made me more aware of my appearance, and also how white people move through the world. We have a lot of history and most of it is not very promising. So I'm very aware of that. But I do believe it makes me a better person in a way, because I'm very aware of my appearance, of like the context of I'm a white person in Ghana. There's lots of history there. So I do think because you talk about these things together, it helps you to grow into a more aware and a more compassionate person. It's not always easy, but which relationship is easy? I think relationships are always work. So, and that's a good thing. You work together through things. And I mean, I like it that Kwame is open about when I show some white privilege. He's like, yeah, but if you were a black person, you would never do that. Or whenever we're in the Netherlands and my friends say certain things, then later we would talk about it like, okay, but that's a bit entitled, for example. It's the same thing the other way around. When things happen here in Ghana, we also talk about these things. People always see me as the foreigner, which is fine because I am a foreigner, but sometimes I miss that people don't see me first as a person. They see me as the white girl, which is, people say, yeah, it's positive because there's only positive sides to that. It is, but sometimes I want people to see me for who I am as a person and not necessarily the white girl. So we talk about that too, and it's, in the end, it takes a lot of patience, compassion, and talking through things. But it brought me so much deepening in my identity and who I am, and I'm sure Kwame has the same. So that, I think that's the beauty for me, that you learn much more about yourself. Yeah. I always feel I tagged along with the YouTube because Kwame, my husband, had already a channel about self-development, his freelancer journey, because he moved from being an employed radio host to a filmmaker, documentary filmmaker, voiceover actor, all these things. So that was his channel, but then at some point he asked me to join him. I'm not somebody who's very comfortable in front of a camera. I can do it, but it's not something that comes naturally to me. So I was a bit hesitant. I'm still hesitant. I'm really out of my comfort zone. But for me, the motivation to do these episodes is because we are not necessarily fitting into the norm, right? Or an interracial, intercultural relationship. I'm a Dutch person living in Ghana. He's married to a Dutch person. We don't quite fit the box, so to say. And I mean, you can complain about the norm and that we don't fit in all you want. But we try to turn it around. So with our channel, we're trying to take up more space. As a couple, we are trying to share our experiences and show that intercultural and interracial marriages can work. It's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie about it. You will also see that in the videos. But I think it's good to show people that you can have a thriving relationship even when you have a lot of differences, and you can also thrive in another country that's not your own. Yes, it will take lots of efforts and you will really have to put in the work. You will learn so many things about yourself because you will start from scratch. But I do think that's what I like to do, and I really enjoy it to like what it has brought me so far. So I'm somebody who likes to cherish like the little things. So even for me, like little victories like driving in Ghana. I came by car today, and even these little things that I'm comfortable on the roads, those are is definitely a victory for me. But also, I mean, together with Kwame, like exploring things, like going to different places in Ghana. I feel Ghana is such a diverse country. I've never lived in any other African country, so I'm sure I'm a good ambassador for Ghana, but the Volta region is beautifully green. Then you have the whole coastline with beautiful beaches. You have Kumasi, which has so much culture. Close to there, Lake Bosom Tree, it's like such a mysterious place. And then you move up north and it's like a whole other world. Like, I feel Ghana has so much to offer. And in Netherlands, things are quite structured, and I do feel like Ghana leaves more like space for the unknown, for the unexpected things, which can also be very challenging in your day-to-day. But it does make you feel very alive. I feel Ghana really keeps me on my toes, and that makes me very eager to like figure things out. And I've met so many people from different walks of life that I don't think I would have met if I would stayed in my bubble in the Netherlands. So I'm really happy with my journey so far and what it has brought me. Oh please, I eat everything. People are always surprised when I say I eat everything. So my favorite food is fufu, but not during the weekdays because I'll sleep. But in the weekend, Sundays especially, fufu with goat and groundnut soup. You can wake me for that. Then I love red, wache, jollof. What else? I'm not such a fan of kenke and banku because of the sour taste. I'm not used to that. So I'll eat it when it's there, but I wouldn't necessarily crave it. But yeah, it's like I love the food, and I gotten used to the pepper as well. I don't think I'm super brave with it, but I can stand it. So yeah, I really enjoy the Ghana dishes as well. I need to do better. My tree is kakakaka, small. I can do the greetings like wohote saying how are you, mehoye, nawansue, and then I ask it back. Me freme. Okay, so that's where it ends.
My name is.
Yes.
Freme is my name.
Yeah, my name is.
Do you know like your twin name or something?
My day name is Ama. So I'm a Saturday born. So when people struggle with my name, I don't know, people struggle with my name. I've heard every variety of it. So then I just say, just call me Ama. And then people laugh. But it is my name because I am a Saturday born, and it makes it easier sometimes for people just to be comfortable with the Ama instead of the Ileen. Yeah. The channel name is Kwame. We are in the middle of a name change because we're going to make it like a shared couple channel. But for now it's Kwame. Please watch our videos, see, comment, like. We're always very curious to hear your opinion on what you've seen, and if you have suggestions for any episodes, we're also here for it. So feel free.
Thank you.